Hi, I'm Ben,
And I'm Nicole.
and we are from Neurodiverse Gaming. Today, we are interviewing the creator of Audi Tips.
Hi, I'm Lauren Melissa. I also known as Autienelle. I'm really happy to be here and talk about gaming.
We're very happy that you're here as well. We love your posts. You provide such meaningful coping advice for those with autism, and we're just so happy to have the opportunity to ask you a few questions about how gaming has impacted your life. So we'll jump right in. Our first question is, what is your diagnosis?
I am diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder as well as hypermobility syndrome, which is the common comorbid diagnosis.
And when did you receive those diagnoses?
I received the hypermobility diagnosis when I was 20, and I didn't receive my autism diagnosis until I was 23. So that's about 6 years ago.
Could you talk a little bit more about those diagnoses, just so people could know more about them?
Yeah, so autism spectrum disorder is a neurological social developmental disorder or condition, and it impacts each autistic person differently. It's a whole spectrum, or sometimes we talk about it as a color wheel of traits that require different supports depending on the autistic person. Personally, for myself, I have a lot of struggles with social communication as well as sensory processing with sight, touch, and sometimes people have a lot of sensory processing difficulties with taste. I also have it with texture. It makes it a little difficult to navigate life in a neurotypical world. And neurotypical means people whose brains are neurologically the norm. Um, so I am neurodivergent, being autistic, and it impacts every day of my life. But I also think that it's a gift and it's something that I'm proud of.
Absolutely. Thank you. Our next question is, when was gaming an important part of your life?
Gaming was an essential part of my life in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. I don't think I would have really gotten through any of those times in my life without gaming. My older brother is a gamer, and my older sister was never really interested in doing that with him. So when I was born, he immediately decided that I was going to be like his gaming sibling. And it went so far as my first stuffed animal was a turtle, and he told me to name it Yoshi. So I have always been a gamer. I say thanks to him.
That's awesome.
And what are your favorite video games or board games from any time in your life?
So I'm not really too into board games, more into video games. And I used to do playing card games as well. But I'd say my favorite genre is JRPGs. I love them because I can just get so immersed in a whole different world and be invested in that world. And so JRPGs, number one for sure. But I also really enjoy um, Assassin's Creed, the original Assassin's Creed, though. I have this strange obsession with the original Assassin's Creed, and I could never move on from that. But I really like the first one. And I'm an avid Guitar Hero player. I love it. Play it on expert, proud of it. And it's definitely one of my favorite games to just zone out with.
That's awesome. I actually, back in college, I won a Guitar Hero tournament. It was
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
fun. Oh my gosh. I haven't
Very
played it in
cool.
so long though, but I wish I don't even know if I have the guitars anymore.
No, I don't think so. I could never play on expert. I'm jealous of you both.
um, Next question. Did your diagnoses make it hard to participate in any games?
I think my diagnosis made it hard to maybe participate in board games, which I mentioned. I don't really like board games too much because whenever I play board games with people, there's a lot of social dynamics there and a lot of competitiveness that people say they're just playing, we're just playing around, but I take it literally. And so board games are very hard for me. And also, board games require a learning curve. You have to learn it in front of other people, which makes me very nervous being autistic and not learning things the same way that other people do. but it's very different with video games, with Final Fantasy and JRPGs and Kingdom Hearts. Oh my gosh, with I could play it on my own and learn it on my own, and so it felt like it was perfectly made for me and my autism. I also think that a lot of gamers are really unique people that don't really judge others for being different. And so whenever I would go to conventions and go to the gaming hall, I always felt that it was very easy to connect with other people there. And I also connected a lot with people on forums, back when forums were like a big deal, and on gaming forums and different avenues like that. And I made internet friends through gaming, which internet friends are a huge part of being autistic. A lot of autistics have friends solely on the internet.
Absolutely. Going back to that, I love Kingdom Hearts, and she hasn't played yet, but we like just dug up our old PlayStation 2, so I'm gonna see if she'll like the original one at least. But
Yeah, he's been
Totally worth it.
have to play it. So I'm hoping it'll hold up now for him, like, you know, the graphics and the storyline, because I'm sure at the time it was like the best thing around, but we'll see if it holds up.
I think the storyline can definitely carry the old graphics.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be worth it.
I feel the exact same way. Whenever we go to PAX East in Boston, the Penny Arcade exhibition, and I always just feel like, wow, this is such an amazing community of a mixture of neurodiverse and neurotypical individuals that just meld so well, and the gaming community is so great.
Yes,
Yeah.
really, it is.
What do you want people to know about what it's like to have your diagnosis?
I would like people to know that autistics are definitely different, but we are so inherently valuable just as human beings, but also in the way that we think about the world, we see the world. Because we see things so differently, we can really offer a lot of innovative ideas. And we're also very accepting people because we don't expect people to fit into like norms and to be a certain way. We look at each person as a unique individual and just judge them upon their, judge not in terms of criticize, but like evaluate them based upon just who they are and their honesty and their integrity and their willingness to be open and accepting. And I think that that's something that the world needs more of. So I hope that people can see that in autistic people and learn to incorporate us more into society, because I think it will only benefit society for it to be more neurodiverse.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you for that.
So our next question, you already touched on a little bit when we were talking about participating in games, but when you were playing more games in elementary school through college, can you talk about how you made friends from gaming?
I definitely made friends through gaming by having gaming as something I could talk about in social situations. For autistics, a lot of the time it's hard for us to know how to start a conversation, and we often struggle with small talk. But if we can get a topic started that we're interested in and other people can relate to, then we can have a lot of fun and really carry very long conversations. So I think that gaming gave me an avenue to connect with other people, and it was essential me making friends in that way. It also is an activity that I can do with people. I can play Guitar Hero with people. I can play Super Smash with people. I can play Mario Party with people. You know, there are social games that have structures, and structure is really helpful for autistics. And we also like to have fun, though. So it's like structured socializing. So I think it's a great avenue to make friends in that way as well.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. Like, you don't have to worry about the small talk. It's just like you play, you do what the game is telling you to do at any moment, and you have fun together. It's perfect.
Whenever I was gaming, I would just sit on Pokemon and I would like walk in the grass and just fight other Pokemon for like 5 hours in one grass patch. Like I wouldn't leave that grass patch until I'd gained 10 levels, and then I would move on to the next grassy patch. So I really was that Pokemon gamer, but because of all the grinding, which I feel like is stemming, was me doing a repetitive behavior in order to regulate and self-soothe. Because of all that grinding, though, I was definitely the Pokemon trainer whose Pokemon wouldn't obey me because I didn't have enough gym badges to keep them under control.
Yeah. Charizard that would just immediately kill everything. Like you get into a battle and it just goes like, all right, fine. I mean, we won, but.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely think that gaming, I would game sometimes for up to maybe 13 hours straight. Like I would see the sunrise as I reached a new land in Final Fantasy X, or so I think that that definitely has some stimming relationships there for autistics.
Okay, next question. What does neurodiversity mean to you?
Neurodiversity to me means valuing all neurotypes, all different kinds of people, and truly just recognizing that people on a brain level are different, and not just saying everybody's different, but really different and have different things to offer the world, and that that would make the world holistically improved and have better well-being and mental health, and just it would just it's one step closer to real inclusivity, I think. And I also believe that neurodiversity is so powerful because it crosses all lines of difference. There are people of color, there are Black people, Indigenous peoples, there are queer people, people of different abilities, religions, everything. Neurodiversity encompasses all of that. So I think it is a huge layer of intersectionality that is just now really getting a lot of attention. And I hope it continues to get attention. And I think that it's essential that the neurodiversity movement gains traction and voice.
So those were most of our big questions. So our last question is for anybody that's watching this video, how can they follow you?
You can follow me on Autienelle on Instagram and Twitter. I'm available there. I mostly focus on Instagram, where I give the Audi tips, which are coping advice from an autistic to autistics. And I also accept requests there. So please check me out, and I'd love to get involved with more neurodivergent individuals, especially gamers.
So that was all that we had prepared for our questions. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. And please visit her social medias. They're really great.
We can't wait to see what else you do. We're really enjoying your content.
Thank you.